Hello students, I am Navdeep, working as Assistant Professor in Computer Science Department of Arya College, Ludhiana. Today in this lecture, I am going to discuss about memory management. So, what is memory management? It is the functionality of operating system which manages the main memory and also keep track of all those processes which are moving from secondary memory to main memory and vice versa. See, now in this definition, we have mainly concentrated on three concepts. First one is main memory, second is secondary memory, and next is the process. So, what is the process? A program in execution is known as a process. What is a memory? Memory is a space where we kept the data which is to be processed by the CPU of the system. Now, we try to understand this with the help of this diagram. In this diagram, we can clearly see that we have divided our memory into two parts. First is the primary and second is the secondary. Primary memory is one which directly communicates with the CPU and secondary memory is one which indirectly communicates with the CPU. As you can see in the diagram, the size of the primary memory is comparatively small as compared to the secondary memory, while primary memory is faster in access and secondary memory is slow in access. Now, why we use these two types of memory? See, the concept of memory is mainly required so that we can put multiple processes in the system so that our CPU will not be get so that the CPU will not sit idle. So, in this respect, why we use primary memory and secondary memory? In primary memory, we place only those processes which are most frequently needed by the CPU. In secondary memory, we will place those processes which will be less frequently called by the CPU. Now, how can we decide that which process will be kept in the primary memory and which process will be kept in the secondary memory, and how will the process will migrate between these two memory? All this discussion and all these things will be done with the help of the memory management. Now, how memory management do it? Before this, we will discuss about the functions of memory management. First, keep track of which block is occupied and which is free. Now see, as you can see clearly in this diagram, we have divided the memory into certain blocks. Now, memory management take care of this, that which block is empty and which block is occupied. Second, allocation and deallocation of memory blocks to the processes. See, suppose block 1 is occupied by a process P1 and P1 has completed its execution and left the system. Now, it is the duty of the memory management module to deallocate this block and allocate it to some other block. Next, maximize the CPU utilization. See, as we know that the speed of the CPU is very fast as compared to the speed of memory, and with the help of memory management module, we make sure that CPU will not sit idle waiting for a process. When a process is being migrated between these two memory, we will make sure that CPU is working on some other process. Next, types of partition. See, the blocks which we have mentioned in the diagram earlier can also be known as partitions. Now, these partitions can be of two types. First one is equal sized partitions and second one is unequal sized partition. So in the diagram, you can clearly see that when we talk about equal sized partitions, we divide the memory block into equal size, while in case of unequal size partition, we divide it into unequal size. Next, memory allocation techniques. Now, these techniques is used to allocate and deallocate the memory partitions to different processes. These are mainly categorized into two types. First one is contiguous and second one is non-contiguous. Then the contiguous allocation is again divided into two types. First one is the fixed size and second one is variable size, and the non-contiguous is again paging and segmentation. Firstly, you should know what is contiguous and what is non-contiguous. Contiguous means that suppose we have allocated the first block to a memory, or we have allocated a first block to a process, then if a process needs some other block, it should be in continuous order. Like if we allocate 5 kb, 10 kb and 50 kb block to a process P1, we can't do that like we have allocated 5 kb and then we have allocated 20 kb. We can't leave the blocks in between empty. It should be in a continuous order. Next, fixed size partitioning scheme. In case of fixed partitioning, this is the oldest and simplest technique used to put more than one process in the main memory. In this partitioning, number of partitions are fixed, but size of each partition may be or may not be same. This means that we divide the memory into different partitions and these partitions are fixed, but we cannot say that it should be of equal size. Like in this diagram, like unequal size partitions, we have only already make sure that block 1 is of 5 kb, block 2 is of 10 kb. These are of unequal size, but their sizes are fixed, means we cannot change the second block size. If we have kept it in 10 kb, then it should remain 10 kb. We can't change it. And if some processes demand this block, then we should allocate the entire 10 kb to it. And it's the responsibility, or it's up to the process if it's used 10 kb or if it use 1 kb. Next, we can understand it with the help of an example. Now see, in this example we have 4 blocks. First is of 4 MB, second is of 8 MB, third is of again 8 MB, and fourth is of 16 MB. Now we have a process P1. It demands a memory space of 1 MB. Then we have allocated it the first block. Now you can clearly see that we have given the whole block to the process P1. अगर प्रोसेस P1 ने 1 MB की डिमांड की है, तो हमने ऐसा नहीं किया कि उसको सिर्फ 1 MB दिया, हमने पूरा का पूरा ब्लॉक उसको एलोकेट किया. अब हमारे पास हो क्या रहा है कि 3 MB हमारे वेस्ट हो रहे हैं. उसके बाद सेकेंड प्रोसेस आया, इसने 7 MB की डिमांड की, तो हमने इसको सेकेंड ब्लॉक एलोकेट कर दिया जिसमें हमारा 1 MB वेस्ट हो गया. नेक्स्ट ब्लॉक हम अगेन 7 MB, हमारा 1 MB फिर से वेस्ट हो गया. एंड लास्ट इज ऑफ 16 MB ब्लॉक, जिसमें से हमने 14 MB एलोकेट कर दिया और 2 MB हमारा वेस्ट हो. अब देखो हमारी टोटल वेस्टेज कितनी हो रही है. 1, 4 minus 1 is 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 मीन्स हमारी टोटल 7 MB की स्पेस हमारे पास फ्री अवेलेबल है. लेकिन ये 7 MB स्पेस हम किसी प्रोसेस को नहीं दे सकते. क्यों? क्योंकि ये एक कॉन्टिन्यूस ऑर्डर में नहीं है. सपोज हमारे पास एक प्रोसेस आता है P5 जो कि 7 MB की स्पेस डिमांड कर रहा है, लेकिन हम वो उसको एलोकेट नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि ये एक कॉन्टिन्यूस ऑर्डर में नहीं है. अब जब हमारे पास सिस्टम में मेमोरी स्पेस अवेलेबल हो लेकिन हम उसको एलोकेट ना कर सके, इस कंडीशन को हम बोलते हैं फ्रेगमेंटेशन. अब क्योंकि ये फ्रेगमेंटेशन एक ब्लॉक के अंदर हो रही है, दैट्स व्हाई इट इज नोन एज इंटरनल फ्रेगमेंटेशन. सो one of the disadvantage of fixed size partitioning scheme is that it suffers from internal fragmentation. Next, in order to fix this disadvantage, we have shifted to variable partitioning. Now, what is variable partitioning? It is a part of contiguous allocation technique. It is used to alleviate the problem faced by fixed partitioning. Now, in this case, earlier in case of fixed partitioning, we have fixed the size of the block, and now, but in this case, we have not fixed it. जोन सा प्रोसेस जितनी मेमोरी स्पेस डिमांड कर रहे हैं, हम उसको उतनी ही मेमोरी स्पेस का ब्लॉक एलोकेट कर रहे हैं. लाइक हमारे पास एक प्रोसेस P1 है, उसने 2 MB की डिमांड की, तो हमने उसको सिर्फ 2 MB ही दिया. नेक्स्ट ने 7 MB की डिमांड की, तो हमने उसको 7 MB एलोकेट किया. नेक्स्ट डिमांडेड 1 MB, तो उसको हमने 1 MB एलोकेट कर दिया. एंड द लास्ट प्रोसेस डिमांडेड 5 MB, तो हमने उसको 5 MB एलोकेट कर दिया. Hence, जो हमारी पार्टीशनिंग का साइज है इज इक्वल टू द साइज ऑफ द प्रोसेस. सो इसकी वजह से यहाँ पे कोई इंटरनल फ्रेगमेंटेशन नहीं हो रही है. बट इसमें अगेन एक डिसएडवांटेज है. सपोज इन द अबव एग्जांपल प्रोसेस P1 जिसका जो साइज है वो 2 MB है एंड प्रोसेस P3 जिसका साइज 1 MB है हैव कंप्लीटेड देयर एग्जीक्यूशन. अब इन दोनों प्रोसेसेस ने अपना एग्जीक्यूशन कंप्लीट कर लिया, मतलब दे हैव लेफ्ट द सिस्टम और हमारे पास ये वाली मेमोरी स्पेस फ्री हो गई. मतलब हमारे पास 2 + 1 3 MB की स्पेस अवेलेबल है. अब क्योंकि हमारे पास ये स्पेस अवेलेबल है, अगर कोई और प्रोसेस इसको डिमांड करता है तो क्या हम उसको एलोकेट कर सकते हैं? नहीं, हम नहीं कर सकते. क्यों? क्योंकि ये वाली जो मेमोरी स्पेस है ये कॉन्टिन्यूस ऑर्डर में नहीं है. क्योंकि हम कॉन्टिन्यूस मेमोरी एलोकेशन स्कीम पे काम कर रहे हैं, तो जब हमें किसी प्रोसेस को कोई स्पेस एलोकेट करनी है तो वो एक कॉन्टिन्यूस ऑर्डर में होनी चाहिए. सी block size 2 MB, it has executed and now it is empty, and P3 also executed and now it is empty. Now P5, कोई एक process है P5 जिसका size है 3 MB. It has demanded the memory space but we cannot allocate it because it is not in the continuous order, and this type of memory wastage is known as external fragmentation. So we have concluded that fixed size partitioning suffers from internal fragmentation and variable size partitioning suffered from external fragmentation. And what is fragmentation? When we have memory space available but we cannot allocate it to any process because it is not in continuous order. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you.